USC Jay. It's your boy Jakeem. Really appreciate what you do for USC culture, man. Keep going.
Going on, shout out USCJ, man. Appreciate the support. Shout out to USCJ, you know what it is. Nothing but love, man.
All right, come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. Let's talk about it. Happy Tuesday to everybody, man. Listen, this is a beautiful day. USC is still on the winning side, and we got B. Shaw in the house. B. Shaw, what's the word?
Not a whole lot, man. Doing great. Like you said, USC still in the hunt.
Absolutely, absolutely. Look, I want to get into some of this stuff, man, from the game, but real quick, I kind of want to touch on some of the things that I had an opportunity. I don't know if you saw it. I talked with four-star recruit Booby Feaster, his dad, and man, he brought up some incredible points, some incredible things that kind of me and you've been talking about as far as like this program is really they're really headed in an incredible, tremendous direction right now. And you look at whether it's the facilities, whether it's the coaching staff that has been assembled together. And he talked about that. And I don't know if you heard it, but what's your thoughts overall, man, on everything that's being assembled together? And it looks like this thing is really coming together slowly but surely.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, if I was a recruit and USC was after me, they would definitely be at the top of my list when you look at the new facility coming up and just look at all the, kind of things USC has to work with, where it's at, the market. I mean, you're in LA. It's got a lot to sell, and when they're winning, it makes it a lot that much easier to sell. And I think everybody wants to be a part of a winning recruiting class as well. When you see a recruiting class coming together, like some of these recruiting classes are being put together, parents and other kids, they're going to want to be part of that greatness because they can say, I'm part of the number one recruiting class. I'm part of the number two recruiting class, whatever it may be. And then USC, just with the resources, it's big time. The future is definitely bright. And this year we're on the right track in terms of winning and really providing that kind of hope for these recruits as well and showing them that this is definitely the place to be.
Absolutely. One other thing I want to touch on from him that he said, he talked about Coach Lincoln Riley. He basically talked about how the coach, like if anything were to happen, like the class would fall apart. But he also mentioned the fact that these players love Lincoln Riley, man. And I'm saying that to say you play under Coach Lincoln Riley as early as last year. You were on the field with some of these guys that poured it out just over the weekend. What are some of the things about Lincoln Riley? Because he did address that. And I noticed that different recruits that I brought on here, they kind of all have the same common theme that, we love Coach Riley. Like, what are some of the things about Coach Riley, in your opinion, that you think he has as far as characteristics? Qualities?
Yeah, in terms of just being a person, I mean, he's an absolute phenomenal guy, and you can tell that he genuinely cares for you. I've been sometimes the head coach walks by you, they're not going to say too many things or say what's up. That's just the name of the game. But Coach Riley, he will make sure to talk to every player and really check in on his guys. And just off the field, he's a really, 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 really good – like he just has that genuine –
I hear that a lot.
Yeah, he's very genuine, very caring, and he would do anything for his players. I mean, I could call him up right now and, ask him for just about anything, and I'm 100% sure that he would get me whatever I need. That's the kind of guy he is. And then just in terms of a coach, just me being with him the last 3 years – and even this year, I've really seen him every single year just take tremendous growths and as a football coach. And I really think he's heading in the right direction of being that top tier kind of coach that he wants to be. And he's just growing. And off the field, he is a very genuine dude. And then on the field as a coach, you can really see him. I hope people from the outside as well can see that he is really growing just mentally.
No, that's fact. That's facts. And that's a good way to transition into what I really want to talk about. And that is, you guys see the title, USC at a turning point, and Lincoln Riley is steering his team in the right direction. And even, like, I hate to keep kind of alluding to the interview that I did with Booby Feaster's dad, but he was talking about nothing just pops up like popcorn. And, some things take time. And to your point, we're seeing maturity even from the Nebraska game, and I want to get into that game. I think we see a level of maturity from Coach Riley. Now, don't get it twisted. The first half, bro, I was lost. I was like, that's probably the worst half of football. It seems like I've ever seen. I don't know. Everything just looked discombobulated. But at the end of the day, I believe in these coaches. Number one, every
Yeah.
single one of them. I believe in Coach Riley. Number two, and I've always felt like Coach Riley is one of the best play callers in the country, hands down. I will
Yes.
always stand on that. I didn't agree with the first half play calling, but I'm not the coach. But at the end of
Yeah.
the day, I still think he's one of the best play callers. But can you his level of maturity though throughout this game? Did you know what did you see?
Yeah, well, the biggest thing that stood out to me is, Jaden, who's having a great season. The fact of the matter is he was struggling in that
Yeah,
first half and kind of looked like he, just mentally was off his groove a little bit, off his mark, and looked like he wasn't really seeing the full picture out there. So Coach Riley does a great job, and we talked about this, Jay. So my quarterback, he's struggling to throw the ball. I'm going to use his legs. And somebody had brought that up here. Somebody asked the question
yeah.
if we thought,
Phil Parker. Phil Parker
yeah,
was the
yeah,
one that actually
if he should be
said
running
that.
the ball more. And I said, listen, I don't think you do it at first, but if you're struggling, then yeah, you probably get him involved more. And that's exactly what Coach Riley did. That was a great adjustment. He went back to the running game. I mean, they couldn't stop the running game. Nebraska's defense could. That
Yeah,
pass defense did show to be a little bit legit. Um, but I think that's more that we didn't execute well in the passing game than then shutting us down. But with that being said, that's where Coach Riley showed his maturity. He went back to the running game. He ran Jane. He made that adjustment, which really turned out to be the difference maker. And in years past, I'm not sure Coach Riley would have exactly
that's
jumped
facts.
on the switch, but he
That's
is
facts.
I know he's the best play caller in college football. I mean, I've gone up against his offense hundreds of times now. So I know.
In practice, yeah, yeah, yeah. He turned on the switch. The first half was a little bit different than, I think it was that point in time where I guess you see there were difficulties on both, not just from Jaden Maiava, but then from Jacoby Lane or maybe
Yeah.
Makai. You just saw where a couple of drop balls now that can kind of go back to the point that you kind of made. You talked about prior to this game. You talked about gritty wins, Big Ten wins, and how they take pride in grinding it out.
Yeah.
Man, can you talk about how we had to really adopt that and how we really did adopt it and really put it into play, allow it to manifest on the field?
Yeah, I mean, winning that game is massive. I've said it a bunch of times now. I played in Nebraska. I talked to, Elijah Page. I talked to DeCarlos Nicholson. I mean, D. Nick said that's right up there with Death Valley, LSU. I mean, he played at Mississippi State. 'Cause that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
We talked about it. I mean,
Did you talk to D Nick?
yeah, I talked to D. Nick after the game, and
Man,
he
that's
said
my
that,
guy. Hey, tell him I said what's up. He know he my
I,
guy, man. I
I
got love
will.
for him.
He said that was like
Absolutely.
he's like that was like playing in Death Valley, and everybody talks about Death Valley, and Nebraska is a real tough place to play. And they had a good team. They did have a good team. They came out and they played. So finding a way to get that win, especially when things were going ugly in the first half, and you really were faced with a lot of adversity. You never know. Maybe that. Man, we're going to struggle on the road again. All those thoughts.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
But guess what? He overcomes that. Coach Riley overcomes that, makes adjustments. This team keeps fighting. The defense comes out in the second half, gets stops when it needs to. And that's exactly what you want to see, especially as a fan. Are my guys fighting through adversity? Are they going on the road and really giving it everything they got? And they did just that. So I was very, very – it was sloppy. They could have played better, but at the end of the day, this was one of the proudest moments I've been.
No, that's
in a year.
facts. That's absolute facts. Can you talk about the confidence that a game like this will give you, even though it wasn't the most glamorizing game in some people's opinion, but from a morale standpoint, from a
Yeah.
character building standpoint, can you talk about and the confidence that it could build?
Yeah, I
What
think
type of confidence?
exactly. I think this is more of like a, kind of the monkey off the back type of thing.
Oh my God.
We can't win on the road, and they go out there and they get a big time road win. So I think it's now, listen, we can win on the road, and now it's time to get back. Now we're coming off the bye. Their probably mission was beat Nebraska, and this is a huge 4 or 5 game stretch, whatever's coming up. We'll go week by week, but this is a massive stretch. So now you start off that stretch on the road with the win. Everything's out in front of you, and you got Northwestern coming in Friday. So the confidence should be at an all-time high, and they got everything that right there in front of them, and they know this. They know this.
Yeah, yeah. Me and you, we've always, I see a lot of different. I look at a lot of different things, man. I see a lot of whether it's Twitter, whatever. A lot of people just completely losing confidence. One thing about it, I know you. Of course, those your guys. You was on the field with them, and then me. I just never lost confidence. I just see the
Yeah,
team for what it is. I see the caliber
yeah,
of athletes, man, and just
yeah,
I always match up athlete for athlete, and pretty much every team. And I'm gonna even go with even Notre Dame. I mean, a lot of teams, athlete for athlete. I just think USC just has some of the better athletes now. Whether we put it together and allow it to really gel together to really give us a product that's just a winning product, that's a whole nother story. But one thing I know in my heart from the players that I see on the field is I know that we have some of the best athletes. Can you speak to that real quick because you saw those guys up
yeah.
front up in firsthand?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like you brought up. The Nebraska coach came out and said they got some of the best athletes
Yeah,
at every position, which is true. I mean, defense line, you got freaks like Shelby, Lucas, Devin Tompkins. We can go on and on there. Back end, you got CP, Kamari Ramsey, Bishop Fitzgerald. I mean, and then on the offense, that's self-explanatory with those weapons outside, and then Jaden, and then especially when Kings. If we had all three running backs, Sanders and Jordan, they'd be probably the best running back room in the country right now with
yeah,
what Kings playing and B-Jack. So I mean, they got all the talent they need. It's just all about staying consistent and kind of learning, getting over that learning curve of how to win in the Big Ten and winning in the Big Ten and really building that championship DNA. It takes time.
yeah. No, it takes time. I like this question. This question here. He says, "B. Shaw," and I'll open it up for questions because I only got about 45 minutes today. But it said, and I got people waiting in the chat. But once we finish talking and just kind of just recapping some things, I'll open it up for a second. But this is a question from Hugo. He says, "B. Shaw, can you take us into the mind of 18, 22-year-olds, what it's like playing in a hostile environment, and why it's so hard to play in that environment?"
Yeah, that's a great question. I think mostly in terms of mentally, the players are able to handle it. It's just really communication and stuff like that, and then especially on the offensive side, getting everybody lined up and making sure everybody's on the right page. But where it starts to get a little hard is if the game's kind of close and they start getting momentum and the fans get into it, then it's kind of like that chaos, kind of just a lot of things start popping up in your head, and it's hard. You might lose focus there for a little bit. Being a 18 to 22-year-old kid, that you make some mistakes or something, the crowd gets on you, and the next thing you know, you're kind of in that chaotic state. So you just have to find a way to settle down and really silence the crowd noise in your head and just get back to play by play. I'm just playing football one play at a time, because that is the toughest part. If you go out there on offense, you make throw an interception as a quarterback, all the crowd's letting you hear it. They're loud, they're talking trash, and then next thing you know, they can create that chaotic type of mindset where you just got to calm everything down.
I've never been I mean, that environment. I put a clip up this morning of King Miller, man. And his vision looked crazy though on that.
Yeah,
And we'll talk.
I saw that. I
Did you
saw
see
that.
that? But
Yeah, I saw that.
did you hear how you've been in that on
Yeah,
numerous occasions? Did you hear how loud it was? And when I saw that clip, it put things in a different perspective for me. Like the signal calling, the clapping that Jaden does,
yeah,
the signals that's coming from Kamari or Desmond or whoever. Like how difficult is it,
exactly.
man, to
That's
really be able to just get that stuff over, man?
yeah.
Like what is the
It is extremely, extremely tough. I mean, especially in a place like that where communication, and that creates, it's all about creating kind of that chaos in the type of, in the mind. Because let's say a play is called, the left tackle doesn't get it, the right, your bench is on the right sideline. They signaled in. They got to communicate the call down to the left tackle. And then let's say it's so loud, it's rocking, it's a big third down. The left tackle might not hear what the
yeah,
call is, or hear the
yeah,
check, or hear who the mic is. And next thing you know, he's freaking out like, oh shit, what am I doing?
yeah,
What am I doing? And that's kind of how that hostile environment plays into it. So it's more so mentally. I always, to be honest with you, I love playing on the road. I mean,
right.
I'm more fired up to play on the road, if I'm being 100% honest. But that communication, and if they get that momentum and the crowd really gets into it, it's kind of creates that chaos that I'm talking about. So it's mentally like you want it and you're ready for it, but at the same time it's like on the field type of stuff that it
So how
really
much thinking like between plays when you get those plays from the signal from the sideline to whoever the caller is, the green dot guy,
yeah
and you start getting the play now like and you hearing all this noise,
yeah
and then your
it,
mind is trying to connect the play. Like
yeah
what is going through the mind?
no, I mean it's crazy like as a safety, on defense, you get let's say they get a big play. Okay, well the crowd's going absolutely bonkers. You got to get the crowd, or you got to get the signal as a safety. I got to get the signal from the coach. Then I'm responsible for getting, because you don't want 11 guys on the defense looking at the sideline and getting the signal, because if they snap the ball in the middle of the signal, you're cooked. So the safety's responsible for this. So they get a big play, and Nebraska gets a big play. Crowds rolling, crowds bumping. I got to look at the sideline, get the signal from the coach, make sure my other DBs get it, make sure they relay it to the linebackers, and the linebackers relay it to their front. And obviously, if the crowd's rocking like that, you got to go up to your guys like dang near, face to face, yell at them. You got to walk up to the linebackers, yell at them. I mean, it does create a lot of challenges. And then obviously the crowd's not going to be too as loud on the road when you're on defense, because they're supporting their offense. So just think about how much harder that would be if you're on offense.
No, man, that's no doubt. That's a difficult, and it really, for me, even with that clip that I posted this morning, it put a lot of things into perspective for me. At least, even as it relates to Leak and Riley, like you have to be mentally strong as a coach and level-headed, level-minded enough to really just call the right plays. And I could
Yeah.
see how things could be all over the place, man. Just with that whole environment, man, it's crazy. So this game reminded me though, and I wanted to bring this up. Now I can't remember. Were you here in 2022 when we went to Oregon State? Were you in
Yeah.
that game? You
No,
were in
I
that
was in
game.
the game. I
Okay.
was in the game.
Yeah, you were in that game. So that was with Caleb. We went to Oregon State.
Yeah.
That was a play where Jordan Addison, scored that last touchdown. But I want to pull this up because
I
I
always
felt.
tell pe- I always tell people real quick, Jay. I always tell
Oh
people
yeah.
that Oregon State had to be pumping crowd noise into their speakers, because they were
It was.
doing construction. I swear, they were doing construction on half that
I
stadium.
remember
You
it was
remember?
half the stadium.
And I
Yeah.
swear to you, it was probably like 15,000 people in there. It was.
Yeah.
You ask anybody on the team, you can ask freaking Caleb Williams. It was one of the loudest environments ever, and we're all like, it's got. And we were on the far sideline where there's no people, and it
Yeah.
was so loud. So I'm like, we were all like, they have to be pumping in crowd noise through these speakers.
They probably did. I mean,
Yeah.
somebody else was telling me it was super loud there, and
Yeah.
they had construction going on. But I brought that game up, and yeah, I thought you played in that.
Yeah.
And the numbers, when I looked at these numbers, I said, I went back, and somebody else, I think Jaywalk, somebody brought this up. But you look at what Caleb here, he went 16 for 36, 180 yards, and then you see where Travis Dye had 19 carries, 133 yards. So I thought about that, and then you look at the receivers: Todd 6 for 67, Jordan Addison 3 for 42, B. Rice 3 for 28. So I went to this game, Nebraska, and I saw 9 for 23 with Jaden Maiava, King Miller 18. Like the numbers are almost identical, man. Literally identical to
Yeah.
the Oregon State game, like very identical. The rushing, we had success. I think Travis Dye went for 133. King Miller went for 129. Jaden Maiava went for 135. Caleb went for 180 right there. You see that. And then you just look at the receivers right there. And I'm just thinking, that game was so similar to this, and it was a game that we won kind of the same way. Man, can you speak to that portion of it? Like the numbers might not always reflect something that we necessarily wanted to see,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, the result was a
Yeah.
W.
Yeah, you're gonna definitely. I think the point is, when you look at these two games, is during the season you're gonna get caught in one of those games. It doesn't really matter how good you are. At some point, you're gonna get caught when it's a really, really tough test on the road, and if you can find a way to win that, that shows a lot about where your team is and where your culture kind of is. But in most teams, to get in those type of games and lose those games. But
Yeah.
I think it's a great, and we in the last 2 years, fact of the matter is we've lost those type of games.
No,
You know?
that's facts.
Yeah. 2022 we won those type of games. We ended up going to the Pac-12 championship. We're this close to going to the playoffs. The last 2 years we don't win those type of games, and we're sitting at 7-5 and 6-6, which we all know we were way better than. And then this year we find a way to win that. Now we're right there with everything right in front of us. So you're going to run into those games, and winning those, you got to learn how to win those games. Those are big time wins.
No, that's facts. And so that's why I really feel like, and we lost those games last year, and I feel like we were just as good. But now I feel like this is a turning point, turning the curve, kind of getting back to some tough man football, man. And I think USC's in the mix now. I'm getting ready to open this chat up. I'm gonna put the link in here so you guys, because we got limited time, we got about another 20 minutes we could go. And
one thing I do want to say real quick is I definitely, because this was a hot topic for this show last week. I want to shout out the corners.
I want to get into all that real quick.
And Marcellus Williams. I mean, they did a good job of getting hands on. They were physical at the line of scrimmage.
Yes.
This is exactly what we wanted to see, and we saw pay a price. I mean, they saw something on film where they wanted to test these corners, and overall they shut that down very, very nicely, and they did it by getting hands on and being physical.
I think Lincoln Riley, I totally agree. I think Lincoln Riley, he alluded to it yesterday, I think, on the Trojan, whatever that the show is, the Trojan Live in the evening. He kind of mentioned that Marcellus and D. Nick, they kind of settled in on the corners, man. And those two guys, they look like they play some phenomenal football, man. The one little contested touchdown, me, honestly, I really wanted a different look at that. I'm not saying it wasn't in, but I'm just saying.
I don't think it was in. There was no way.
I promise you. Like, I wasn't going crazy. Like,
they moved on so quickly. I was like,
I didn't think it was it. Like, I kept looking at it, and I was just like, that don't even look like a touchdown. Well, you're not the only one that's thinking that then. I thought the same thing. I didn't hear nobody else bring that up, but that did not look like a touchdown. But, they got it.
And then Desmond Stevens, I thought, played really, really nicely. He was getting on the hill and attacking, and that's kind of when Dez is playing fast and just attacking, he's a really, really good player.
Salute. I said it on my instant analysis or commentary, whatever. Desmond Stevens, man, he led the team in tackles. I believe he had 10 tackles. A big salute to Desmond, man. I think he's really he really stepped up. A lot of people were on him hard. A lot of people were on his head. But at the end of the day, I like what I saw from him. Eric Gentry still being Eric Gentry. He had the highest PFF grade of all linebackers, I think, which was like a 78. He looked like he still moved and grooved. Overall, from our defensive line, like, what would you see from them? Shout out to Cam. I think Cam Crawford had him a big sack early on.
Yeah, Cam Crawford looked pretty good. Lucas made a big-time play, getting that strip sack. And overall, they step in the right direction. I think just got to be a little bit more firm on the interior there. If I'm going to be honest, that's where we. Which they're taking steps in the right direction, and those linebackers, the biggest thing that you saw in the second half, and really in the first half too, even though they were still having success, was those linebackers were getting downhill a lot quicker, and they just need to. They still gave up too many rushing yards, and I know they know this. So they need to really, really, really be strong at that line of scrimmage and help those, and those linebackers got to continue to get aggressive in that run game. And this D. Nick and Marcellus Williams having those type of performances is really going to help us going forward, because it's going to show Coach Lynn that he can be that much more aggressive and trust his guys.
No, that's facts. And I think those two, and when you're able to have some guys that could cover and show their ability to be disciplined out there, it's going to help us along the run with teams that throw it more. I'm not sure if Northwestern is going to be that team that's going to actually throw it. And we'll get on to them another time. I might start talking about them probably tomorrow. But I think that you could trust those guys. And then you got the two safeties back there. I did see – where was Christian Pierce playing at? He had a big-time tackle. What play was that? Was that the tight end? It was something that he did in the game where he came in. What type of coverage was that? I don't know if you saw it or not.
Yeah, I mean, I had to go back and look at it, but it definitely looked like they're moving him around a little bit. But
right.
As the player talking about, I got to go back and look at it. I forget that.
But I know he came in there and he looked like he had a good game. I agree.
CP, I think, has been one of the strongest, guys, consistent guys on the year. If in my opinion,
No, he's
Illinois.
had a strong year.
Illinois, he almost single-handedly won us that game, tracking that dude down and then getting that forced fumble there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been playing really, really good, and he's only going to keep getting better.
No, that's facts. That's facts. So, yeah, I wanted to try to cover all of this real quick. So, the defensive ends, how you feel those edge guys? So you grouping all those guys together, the interior guys as well as the edge and the end guys, Anthony Lucas?
I think the edge is did pretty well. I think the edge can continue to be even more disruptive, and I say that because I know the kind of and Jay, the kind of freaks and talented guys they are. They need to be like disruptors, like game wreckers.
Right.
And they have the ability to do that, and they can show that at moments. Just the D-line, they have all the pieces they need. They just needed to continue to be on the hunt every single play. Play.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to you, Mr. Ben Wallace. How you doing this morning?
Yes.
Jamie said, shout out to USCJ and B. Shaw. Listen to you guys on my lunch break. Hey, man, fight on. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate that.
So the defense for the most part, man, we just group them together, the defense as a whole. I'm just going to give the defense a B. I like what they did. And I think, of course, there's always room for improvement, but shout out to them, man. They made some stops when the offense wasn't necessarily, I guess we'll say, put them in the best position, but they came through. They definitely came through. So, from an offensive standpoint, how you like the way the O-line played?
Yeah, I mean, I like the O-line. I think continues to play really well. I mean, I think Elijah Page did a nice job stepping in there. It was good seeing him back and kind of seeing some of the leadership stuff off the field that he kind of provides.
Absolutely.
I love seeing the Miller twins get in there together. I mean, that's
man, I want to get into them.
That's a very, very special moment, and I mean, one of the best families out there. So just big time for them. I continue to see them playing really, really well and being a strong point of this team.
Absolutely. They really did their thing. I want to move to the running back because King Miller, once again, he showed his ability, man, to really wow. And you saw the clip I put up this morning. It gave me a better perspective of his vision. King Miller showed some vision, man. If you guys not on Twitter, make sure you guys follow me. And everybody that comes on, real quick, make sure you subscribe to Shaw Sports Media on YouTube. B. Shaw, he gives all types of analysis. He's on there a couple of is it almost every day? Are you on there?
Oh yeah, pretty much almost every day. Yeah.
On Twitter as well. You can tell them where they can find you real quick.
Yeah, on YouTube you can just search my name, Bryson Shaw, and Shaw Sports Media will pop right up. And then on TikTok it's Shaw Sports. So yeah, those two are pretty active with my buddy Steel Chambers from Ohio State. We do a lot of stuff together and talk about all teams and all sports. So yep, thanks Jay.
Absolutely. I guess I'll go ahead and order. I said order. I mean, answer this question. B. Shaw, what happens during a short week Friday night game like this week against Northwestern? I'm not calling that no trap game. I'm not doing that. But what happens though?
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a trap game either, to be honest with you. But it is a good question. The one thing that does make this a little tricky is the travel and it being a night game, because for those who don't know, you travel right after the game. It doesn't matter if the game ends at 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. You get on the plane, and which takes like 2 hours at USC, which I don't know why it takes forever to get to the plane and get home. And coming from Nebraska, I'm not sure how long of a flight that is. You want to find a way to get rest, and also you have to turn it around quickly, and so you're ready to go. So I know Coach Riley, he usually had a pretty good plan of Sunday getting in there doing something very, very light, Monday doing something really, really light as well, and then Tuesday having a really, really tough practice, and then Wednesday kind of a light practice as well. So he has a good plan for those Friday nights. I really like I feel like Coach Riley always had us really prepared for different schedules and Friday night games. Yeah,
no doubt. So real quick, I want to try to wrap up the offense real quick. So from a quarterback standpoint, we both can agree that wasn't Jaden Maiava's best game. But I think the fact that he did something that a lot of people, I guess, weren't expecting him to, and most people would have thought that you would have had to bring in Hassan Longstreet in order to get that accomplished. But
Yeah.
Jaden Shaw, I'm gonna be honest though, B. Shaw, maybe you've seen it, but I didn't even realize that he looked faster than what I thought he was. To be honest
Oh
with you,
no, Jaden can run. He can really hurt you. I've
man.
seen him practice. And that's why I didn't want to say this, but when they bring in Longstreet, and I know Longstreet's a really good athlete, really good player. All
You
that
seen
stuff.
him do that in practice though.
Yeah, I've seen him do that
Yeah.
in practice all the time. So that's why I didn't really understand when they bring in, Hassan, which I know he's a great player. That's no knock on him, but I understand that Jaden can really move, and he's a big dude. People don't understand how fast he is and how big Jaden is. Jaden is a big guy. I mean,
Yeah, 6'4", 230 or something like that, or
yeah, I was
two
with
twenty
I was
five.
with some of my friends and my girlfriend, and we met him, and they were all like, "Man, I didn't realize that's a big dude right there. I didn't know that was a quarterback." I was like, "Yeah, he's a big guy, and he can move. He's a good runner. He can hurt you running the
Did
ball."
you see where he hit that? He hit a DB or the linebacker. Somebody that dude went backwards.
Yeah, no,
In the game. Yeah.
yeah, no, I seen it. I mean, he showed that, and I'm telling you, with the success they had, you're definitely going to see, if it gets into crunch time, you're going to be seeing him running the ball a lot more.
Yeah, he was very effective, and so I think that we see in a different part of his game that USC can absolutely utilize. The wide receivers, I know that wasn't the best game. I'm not even gonna grade them or Jaden, but I know it wasn't the best. But at the end of the day, I love what Jaden. One thing I can say about Jaden, man, and I always will say, we saw it in the Texas A&M game. Even if whenever he gets behind, he has a knack to come back and win. Like
Yeah,
he
he
has that win
does.
factor in him.
No, he definitely has that kind of factor to him where I love Jaden. I think he's a great guy, and I know the guys playing for him really love him too. His offensive line. He's a type of guy that you want to give everything you have for if you're an offensive lineman or a receiver. So he's definitely doing a good job.
No doubt, no doubt. So look, we'll get into some of these questions. We only got about maybe 10 to 12 minutes left, and we'll call it a day. Let's see. Did you see his wheels? He can run. Yeah, we absolutely did. That's what we're referring to. So I'm gonna get to this first question real quick, and we can roll from here. Paulie, how you doing?
Well, good morning, gentlemen. Man, what a way to wake up! Wake up this morning, man. I worked late. I worked late last night, and being able to wake up this morning and tune on to see you guys, man, to start the day, it just gets me fired up. I'm telling you. Good morning, B. Shaw.
Good
Good
morning
What
to
a
you,
morning.
man.
USC game, man. So anyway, getting into the game, bro. I just what made me so happy is that I love the fact that when I talk about continued improvement, I mean this is just another step in the right direction for me when I see our team being able to go in. I know it wasn't picture perfect, and I know it isn't what everybody wanted to see, but it was a Big Ten road win for me, man, and for us. I mean, to be able to enjoy that with these young guys, and when I see the smiles on the faces, and I know a lot of people bring up the stuff about the coach, about Lincoln, and this. When I look on the sidelines and I see them hugging Lincoln, man, and smiling with each other, there's still a connection there to me, man. And I'm gonna roll with that, man. And I finally got to a point this season where I really wasn't even enjoying it anymore, man. Because you know what? Ever since I kind of got into this thing, and you know, I just want to get back to having fun and enjoying this team and enjoying the ride that they're on, and that's kind of what I made a vow and promised to myself that I'm going to do that, and I really think there's a way that they can reel off some wins here, and I'm going to continue to have faith. As far as the Oregon game, people pretty much say there's no way we can win that game, but you just never know in today's world of college football. Anyone can beat anyone. I don't care how many times I have to say that. I always feel there's a chance. If our top players come in and we come in and we play like a well-oiled machine and play the way we're capable of playing, there's no doubt in my mind that they won't be able to keep up with us. So, anyway, make a long story short, on a positive thing, kudos to Jaden Maiava for I. It's one thing about Jaden. No matter what the situation is, if I just feel that we can always come back, or he's always going to put us in the situation to win this game. I'm really proud of him, man, and that was a tough thing, but he just never gave up. He showed a lot of fight. The commentators were talking about it on there, but Marcellus, to Celis Wiley, man, Marcellus, dude, I just I got to tell you, I am so proud of him, man. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the father in me, but when I read a tweet from his father when he was talking to his,
Oh
he
yeah,
sent it out to his son. Man, something just touched me inside, man. I mean, to tune out the negativity and all that, and that, to see him continue to improve. Can you imagine what this young
absolutely.
man's going to be like by the time he's a senior? So anyway, man, listen, I got to get going here, but I just wanted to chime in and tell you guys, uh, just to wish you guys the best. And anyway, fight on, gentlemen. Have a great day.
Hey,
Be safe out there,
absolutely.
okay?
Yeah,
Hey,
man.
hey, fight on. Hey, great call, man. Thank you,
For
Paulie.
sure.
Yeah, take care, man.
Hey, take
Thank you.
care. Shout out to Big Max if you happen to be watching. I know he follows on Twitter. It's on Twiher as well. Shout
Yeah.
out to you, man. Your son is absolutely balling.
Man, that whole family is just incredible. The Williams family is as good as it gets.
Absolutely. Actually, yeah, you're right. It was his son that had that interception, I think, doing Oregon State. I think it was
Yeah.
Max.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
Max.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was Max. So, yeah, shout out
Williams
to them.
brothers.
Yeah,
That game really was the exact same, huh?
yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy, man. It was the same. All right, next one. Josh, what's up, big dog?
What's going on, guys?
What's
Good
Top of the
going on,
morning.
man? Good
What's the
morning.
word?
Man, I watched that PFF show yesterday, and they had all the rankings. Jaden was top 5 on our team for PFF still, after only throwing, for 135
Yeah.
pounds. But I saw Kalen Miller at 3rd. He was
Yeah.
doing a thing. That was crazy, man.
He's
and-
balling.
Man, balling for sure. But no, I just wanted to give a shout out to. I rewatched the game yesterday. Man, whatever Chad Savage and I always keep saying Hanson, our O-line coach, whatever they're doing is working, because the way those tight ends blocked. I rewatched the game yesterday. The way those tight ends blocked, they blocked their ass off. So didn't do much in the passing game, but they really did their part. And then Tunuk Hines just stuck out to me.
That's a great point. He stuck out to me too.
His blocking is there too, man. Like he's
And
a
special
crazy.
team.
He's
Special
a monster
team.
at blocking, bro.
He's not scared of anybody. He really cracked this linebacker. I was like, dude, you're 18 years old, bro.
Yeah. He want all the smoke, man. But you remember when his dad was on there? He said,
Yeah.
"Look, Jay." He said, "Jay,
He said, we're grimy down here in Houston.
he said we taught him that way, man. This is the way we train him, man. So, hey, man, yeah, absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
But I appreciate you guys. Good game coming Friday. Jay, I hit you on the inside. I think Oregon's losing against Iowa. I think they're going to lose against Iowa this weekend.
I think it's a possibility, though, man. I mean, they're playing in a tough environment too.
The line's only 4.5, so
Dang.
we'll see what that looks like.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm out, man. I'm going to hit this gym,
Hey,
man.
I hope that game is 19 degrees.
I hope it is.
All right, fam.
I want to see them cold like our boys were cold this
Yeah,
weekend.
no, I want it to be cold. I want it to be colder.
Man.
Seriously, below 20. All right, fam. All right. Let's get this next one. Leon, what's the word?
USCJ, B Saw, what's happening?
What's
Man, how
going
you
on,
doing?
sir? Oh, he's down there in sunny Florida, huh?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I just had to bring the sunlight out, you know what I mean? That's how we do it down here.
He's
Hey,
always
man.
flexing on us.
Yeah, he be flexing with the sunglasses all the time, man. What's the word?
Hey, this is like some little $5 glasses my daughters be wearing when we in the car. Man, I just had to throw them on today.
Oh,
The sunlight's
man.
so bright.
Yeah.
I be thinking about that USC win. If the sunlight come out, I just got to put some shades on, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
That's what's up, man. What you got for us this morning, man?
Hey, listen, man. That boy number 24 in that defensive backfield playing safety, man.
He
Yo,
nasty.
Yo, you go back and watch the video. I know your last caller was talking about Tunuk Hines and how he wants to smoke. So does that young man right there. Every time he hits somebody, he trying to put a hurt on him. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, every
Attitude.
single time.
Yes, sir.
I remember doing a video about him, man, and I kind of compared him to, and people didn't like it. They said, and I was just kind of giving an illustration about Taylor Mays. But he just comes downhill like that. I really believe that. Christian Pierce. B. Shaw been talking about it for a minute. I just think he's a guy that he will sacrifice his body and he'll lay it all out there. And you would like to see more opportunities.
A quick story about CP. So CP, it was either last year or his freshman year. He hits, and I've told this before. He hit somebody. He hurt his shoulder real bad, and he had to get surgery. So he missed a couple months, and he came back, and it was his first practice back in pads, and he still got a yellow jersey on. So he's not supposed to hit anything. Well, somebody pissed him off, and he came in the live practice and he hit somebody harder than I'd seen somebody hit. We're all like, CP, you just got back from a shoulder surgery. He's like, I don't care. I don't care. So you're exactly right. That dude is a wild man. He is a great football player. Good teammate too.
I don't think I've ever seen him hit somebody and they not go backwards.
Oh yeah,
Since he's been at USC.
He's legit.
The other young man, Carlon Jones. I see you out there, big dog.
Yeah.
I took a video.
I think he was kind of hurt a little bit, but now he's coming off injury, so I think he might start being in the rotation a little bit.
I took a video snippet and put it on Twitter, and everybody been commenting on it. And I'm like, that young man right there gonna be something special, man. Him and that young defense that we got, man.
Absolutely.
It's good to see Carlon get going for sure.
Absolutely. We appreciate you, man. I gotta get up out of here, man. I got a long drive. I gotta get out of here, but I definitely appreciate you tapping in, fam.
Man, I appreciate both of y'all, man. Fight on.
Yeah, for sure. Fight on.
So look, man. Hey, I'm sorry, you guys. This had to be a short one today, man. I'm lost and I'm about to be late. I gotta get out of here. But hey, listen, everybody that comes on, man, make sure you guys hit the like button. B. Shaw literally giving you player view, player intel as far as his experience actually being there on the field, whether it's Oregon State, whether it's being in these hostile environments. Like, he's out there. You're not going to get this nowhere else, man. So salute to him. Hey, please make sure you go subscribe to Shaw Sports Media. If you type Bryson Shaw, you can find it on Twitter as well as YouTube. He's up there doing some phenomenal thing. He's covering everything. But B. Shaw, real quick, any last thing? I need to get you. We need to get another one going on just for actual preview. But
yeah, I'm down for that. I was ready. I was ready to hit that.
Yeah. We just kind of had to do a little bit of a recap. But
well, you're bouncing all over the place, so who knows if I'll see you.
No, you see me. You see me, man. Hopefully, we can get in there. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Yeah. Look, I'm gonna say it right now. Possibly tomorrow, me and B. Shaw coming back. Tomorrow, I will say, I don't know if this time worked for you, B. Shaw, about no. I got to look at this. But probably like, I would say 6 p.m. West Coast time. I think that might work. Yeah, I think that might work. So you guys might see us tomorrow, and we're going to do an actual preview, man, because I'm lost in all types of sauce. I got to get out of here. But I appreciate everybody, man, for tapping in, man. Happy Tuesday to everybody. Appreciate B. Shaw for tapping in and stepping in. So, look, we out of here, man. Yes. Fight on. Young Tiny, what's up, man? You lost in the light sauce.
Young Tiny.
Fight on. All right.